Hello and welcome back for the second update on the Rising Star expedition that's going on currently in the Rising Star cave system in the Cradle of Humankind outside Johannesburg, South Africa. This update is going to cover the events of November 12th and 13th, 2013. This is being done primarily for me, John Mead, to benefit my middle and high school students to keep them up to date as some of them do not have access to Twitter, but this is certainly available and free for all to share. Hey there, everybody. John Mead here again. We're going to start to take a look at the last 2 days of the Rising Star expedition, and we're going to start off at the beginning of November 12th. And just for your reference here, we're going to be going up this column here on the right side where I've been able to kind of merge a whole bunch of tweets from several different people together to paint a nicely edited view of what's been happening there. So we're starting with the morning of November 12th here, and the first tweet you see here is Lee briefing the advanced scientists early this morning, ready to go get those hominins. And so here you can see Lee right here, the several members of the advanced caving team, and what I believe to be the command center in the background there. Gives you a sense of what's going on. And then we move up, and the first thing is what's the plan for the day? Obviously, he's briefing everybody. Well, today their goal will be to attempt to remove the half skull we can see in the ground. So, and that was seen through the scans that they had done on previous days. And then we follow it up. First order of business is to scan around the skull, collect the loose material. A lot of loose fossils apparently are sitting on the surface there, and before they go in to get the skull out, they're going to need to clean up those other fossils, catalog them, and the like. And then he tells us that the first team is about to ascend with collected fossils. The skull team is about to descend. So as you can tell, there were two different teams. One team going in to deal with the surface fossils, and then another team will follow them to work with the skull itself. And then an interesting tweet here. Does anyone know a good conservator we could have offline discussion and some second opinions with about dealing with moist fossils? So that tells me that the cave deep down there, as would be expected, is moist. Concerned that when fossils dry out, they may get very, very brittle, even more brittle than they are. So they're looking for other opinions there. And much like Lee Berger, he's always looking to expand what people can bring to the table. We go up here next. The skull scan is done. Hard drive on the way up for a recon global scan of chamber continuing. So they're always looking around for different angles to scan things, but especially getting a very high resolution scan of the skull so they know what they're dealing with before anyone even touches it. Then moving up, Hannah Maria Alia enter the cave now, collecting loose fossils near the skull, almost done. So that's what we referred to earlier. So this was very exciting. The 14 fossil specimens around the skull are about to come up. Tooth found near the landing zone. It'll be interesting to know what those fossil specimens were around the skull, but still don't know that at this time. And then lost myself here. There we go. And this is from John Hawks. The three advanced archaeologists are hunched around the skull, brushing and bagging sediment by the spoonful. Here they're wanting to be as delicate as they can be. They want to make sure they're not missing any small fragments, so that's why they're getting the sediment by the spoonful. All that'll come up and get looked at quite closely. Then another one from John Hawks. They've removed enough sediment to see that the cranial remains are resting on long bones. Wow, big deal here. Okay, you have obviously the skull embedded there, but you also can see that they're long bones. These could be arm bones, they could be leg bones. It's unclear at this stage, but that means that it increases the likelihood of having very complete skeletal remains there. Very exciting to see that pop out. Then we're here in the command tent watching the advanced team work on remote cameras, meters away but half an hour in and out. So it does take a while to get back and forth between the command center and the actual dig itself. After some sediment removal, the team is doing another high-res scan to capture context, getting data at each step. One thing Lee Berger is very, very good about is making sure that he does not miss any data that is possible that could come along. With all the scanning he's doing, he's really bringing new technology into things to make this as seamless as possible. Then I love this quote from Lee. Like watching a great reality TV show, watching the remote cams of the excavation. I imagine it would be, even though he's obviously leading the charge there, not being able to be in the cave must be a challenge of sorts to be watching it rather than actually doing it and getting his hands dirty in that sense. This amazed me. I didn't realize this till I saw this. That the scanner's functioning perfectly, accuracy around 0.4 millimeters underground. So that's half a millimeter that they're able to see with these scans. So they're getting every little detail coming up from the scanners. Very useful for planning what they want to do in the future. Another really cool thing to see. We've run out of space in our fossil safe. Second safe delivered this morning. Wow. So that there's obviously a lot more stuff coming out than was initially expected. So that's great, great news. Then we have more complex bones sitting just above the calvaria. That would be the skull cap. So again, confirmation that there's lots and lots of stuff here. And here you can see with this image, which I'll zoom in on here, this is two of the cavers working to actually excavate part of the skull. And just so you can get some sort of an idea, that you can see the outline of the skull. I'm trying to trace it here. Okay, right there. So that would be where the brain would be sitting in there. And I believe from what I've been told that over here on the right hand part, where it seems a bit thicker there, that may be the supraorbital torus right above the eyebrow ridge, basically. So this would be the front of the skull. But that's my guess. Not the best view to see it there. Then we see a nice teaser here. Another discovery in a side chamber coming up in a bit. Don't know what that is. We'll hopefully find out before too long. Then we have John Hawks. If you don't know John Hawks, he's one of the great bloggers of anthropology and genetics and anthropology. And he's obviously here, just finished call to work the best way for me to start blogging here. So he's trying to plan on an extended stay, it seems. More good news from Lee. We've hit a large number of bones around the calvaria that will end excavation at 15:30, so at 3:30 in the afternoon there. The fact that they're seeing so much bone coming out of this is just really, really special. And then a bit of a surprise to those of us who are watching live, we're shutting down communications cams due to a lightning storm, we'll be back tomorrow. So that was the end of it for November 12th. But wow, what an amazing day. They didn't get the skull out as they had initially hoped, but a lot of material came up. The plan was on the morning of the 13th to have a half day off just to catch their breath and all. And John Hawks says, after taking the morning off, we now have Marina and Becca going down to the advanced chamber. And we see here Lee saying scientists going down shortly, recovering scatters of hominin material in the side chamber. Still don't know what that is yet. The last fossils out yesterday were pelvic fragments. That could be very, very important. That will give us a sense of what these individuals in the cave here, what were they walking like? Were they bipeds? What quality of bipedal locomotion did they have? So that will be very, very useful. John Hawks fills us in on the weather situation from the day before. Intense series of 4 thunderstorms last night. About blew over the science tent with lightning inside 100 meters. So we're glad everyone stayed safe there. Then Lee saying it was a day off today. When asked if she wanted to go excavate, Marina said, "That's what I came here for." and I think many members of the team feel that way. This gave me a laugh that Becca was doing the moonwalk across the cave floor to keep from stepping on hominins. Talk about how amazing that is that you have such a collection of fossils that you have to be that careful. And then John Hawks here, just overjoyed to see Lindsay's reaction when the news came up that a first rib, her dissertation, is coming up. So it looks like we have an expert to focus on that rib, that's for sure. Congratulations to Lindsay there. Lee, 10 fossils on the way up the chute now. And Marina and Becca have just found a large collection of bones, maybe hand and foot bones as well as cranial fragments. The neat thing about hand and foot bones, they're small, they're usually lost in a lot of these excavations. They're just not preserved or they're flushed away by waters before they're fossilized. The fact that they're here indicates how complete this could be. That is very, very encouraging. And then disappointing news, another storm brewing, trying to get cavers out and camp secured. We'll look at fossils tomorrow. So they were shutting down kind of mid-afternoon there. And then about 5 hours later, this tweet from John Hawks. What finally made me lose it? Young scientists and cavers spontaneously firing up generator to do a nighttime Skype call with third graders. That gives you a sense for what an amazing experience this must be for those folks. They are so focused and so dedicated, but yet they are willing to share with third graders. And I believe these third graders were in Rhode Island. So that's a very neat thing. The fact that this process is as open as it is absolutely amazing. I will close down now, but I'll be back tomorrow with my update then. Thanks again. Have a great night. Bye.